When I was 11 years old, I lived in the dark.
One summer afternoon, I made a phone call to a friend. I wanted to come over and ride horses one last time before school started up again. I went over early in the morning and we all saddled up. Not even 10 minutes later, my life would change forever. I was on their youngest horse, Little Red, who was a known scaredy cat. While riding, one of their dogs jumped out of a nearby creek and startled him into galloping back to the barn. I fell off halfway there. Immediately there was pain, arguably the worst I had ever been in before. It felt like my head was imploding. That evening, I went to our tiny farming town's ER. I was transferred by ambulance to a hospital 30 minutes away, diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome. When I was awake, it was like I wasn't really there. If you've ever seen Jordan Peele's film, Get Out, this will be familiar to you. But having a CSF leak is very much like the sunken place. It's like you're at the bottom of a pool, able to look up at the images happening around you, albeit refracted. At times, you can struggle to the surface for air, for a few words, before you sink back down, too exhausted to stay afloat. The following 6 months are a blur. I was allowed 1 hour of activity a day. At 11 years old, it felt like an excruciating punishment. Being forced to lie in the dark with no physical interaction, no lights, no sounds, no anything. Just before the accident, I had been playing The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. Because of this, I was able to escape in a way. In this game, you play as the hero, Link, who traverses his world, the world of light, and the Twilight realm. Laying flat, I constantly imagine this as my own scenario. I was destined to also traverse the light and the Twilight. As time went on, my daily activity time increased. It took almost a year to go back to normal activities, although I have never been the same since. I finished middle school and started high school, exhausted and beelining for my bed at the end of every day. I was in incredible chronic spine pain due to worsening scoliosis. I was going to need spinal fusion surgery. I was now 14 and my spine was slowly crushing me to death. I was terrified for the surgery. In the worst case scenario, I could possibly become paralyzed because of the work so close to my spinal cord. Before the surgery, I attended a Bible study in which I asked for prayers for a safe surgery. In response, I received an exorcism. According to this pastor, there was a demon in my spine. Also, if she was able to expel it, I would no longer need surgery. After all the yelling and hands placed on me, I rode home, quiet, now questioning if I was wrong or evil for having the health problems I did. Late October, I finally went for surgery. It was supposed to be a long procedure with about a 2-day recovery inpatient. Instead, I awoke from anesthesia to a horrifying, familiar nightmare. They stood me up quickly once I got to my room, immediately sending me back to the world-altering pain I had experienced 4 years prior. I was 15 years old when I was sent back to the Twilight. The surgeon and nurses were upset with me. I wasn't trying hard enough to improve. I was too lazy to get up and walk. It was senior year when I finally heard the term CSF leak for the first time. The next year, I was diagnosed with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It was then that I finally received my referral to the CSF leak clinic. I did the 48-hour flat test and was given an appointment for about 6 months later. The first step was a bilateral DSM. They did not find the leak, but told me of a horribly placed screw from my surgery. When I went back to my specialist, he offered a blood patch as soon as possible. I took the appointment without hesitation, and for the first time in about 10 years, I had hope. My first epidural blood patch went very well. My brain felt clear. I had my first moment of actually no pain in almost a decade. About 6 weeks later, my first patch failed. However, it had given me a taste of what my life could be like. I received a second patch soon after this, although it did not improve my condition as much. As of filming this, I am about to receive my third patch. I just turned 21 2 days ago, and I finally have a plan to get out of the Twilight. In my taste of upright life, I began my hobby of live-action roleplay, or LARP. I've made a wonderful community of friends there, the closest of which actually learned about CSF leaks to help me. I spend a bit of time at LARP laying down, but otherwise I'm doing fun things like archery. As I'm filming this, I have 2 weeks until my third patch, and yeah, I hope that the next time you see me in this, I'm doing well.
Hi, this is 1 week exactly after my third blood patch, and I have a rebound headache, but otherwise I'm doing very good as far as everything goes. I'm hoping that third time's the charm. There were certain things that were more interesting about this time, just the timing of everything. It was my patch, and then Friday the 13th, and then the eclipse, which I hope personally is good timing for it all and means that this patch is going to be the one that works. Cross your fingers for me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to my story. I hope it helps people. It has been hard to tell, but that's part of the process of healing. And yeah, let's go over everything. So it wasn't a post-concussion syndrome. It was not a demon in my spine. That one's the most bizarre, I think. It was not just, POTS chronic fatigue syndrome, although maybe I have those. It's unsure. And it wasn't because I was lazy and didn't want to get better. I have a CSF leak, and it's taken about 10 years to know that.